Thank you very much. The second question I wanted to ask was about regional security, and in particular about the Democratic Republic of Congo, on which, as I mentioned, Botswana has taken a very principled and strong stance. And we, sitting here in Europe, are constantly alerted to the tragedies in the Middle East and in other parts of the world, and perhaps not sufficiently schooled in the problems of your region. What do you think the region can do about the terrible tragedy of the Democratic Republic of the Congo now, and what might you call on influential leaders in Europe and North America to contribute to a peaceful outcome of that very tragic situation at present?
Thank you for the question. Most appropriate. You know, the DRC is potentially the richest country in Africa, and arguably one of the richest in the world. And more than the DRC, I think the world has failed the DRC. We have failed the DRC in appreciating what value, true value, we can get out of them and they for themselves. And part of what can be done is for the likes of myself, when here, to share that with you and share that with leaders outside the DRC, outside Africa, because we in Africa, particularly in Southern Africa, talk about this. One of my maiden voyages was to Angola, and I saw a president who is a former military general in Angola, who's been in office for 6 months. So he felt pretty good when he was, seeing me as a novice. And we talked about the DRC because he's the chairman of the organ on, an organ of safety and security in SADC. And he informed me that on the 24th of this month, he is in agreement with the chairman of SADC, calling what's called a double troika meeting, i.e. the chairman of the organ, the whole membership of the organ, and the rest of SADC, the heads of state level, becomes a summit, and it's double troika, to deal with the DRC. And the tragedy about the DRC is that the tensions are mounting. The president of the DRC has stayed in power longer than the time that was expected, and there's a lot of agitation. And we in Botswana, mindful of the need to respect the rule of law, my predecessor issued a statement condemning such. And in this meeting, we hopefully will understand fully from President Kabila what is going on. But I have got it on record that President Kabila is committed to not standing for the upcoming elections, that the elections will be held in December, which is very encouraging. But we also want to get it directly from him as a grouping, and hopefully we can get from him a real commitment to not attempt to come back to power by whatever means. If you retire, just retire and let the processes run themselves. But on a final note, part of the underlying cause of instability in the DRC is that those who harvest the resource of the DRC see benefit in harvesting outside the framework of a rule of law. And that in itself is a real threat. So we need to modernize, we need to bring to order all the operators in the DRC who seem to thrive where there's an absence of proper governance. And that you can help us take home by causing and forcing those who so do to abide with the rule of law. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.